Hey, welcome to Face the Book TV, the episode number 3 in our Book Publishing Basics series with my friend and fellow IPNE board member, Scott Channel. Hi, Scott.
How you doing, Charlotte?
Good. I am excited about our episode today because in our little run through, I learned a lot from you about overcoming my fear of maintaining an email list. But first, I'd like to kind of introduce the series. Face the Book TV is a live stream and audio podcast, and live stream video and audio podcast distribution produced by Pierce Press, my company, in collaboration with the Independent Publishers of New England. And you'll find the show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The episode website is piercepress.com/facethebooktv. Let me see. Let me flash that up. I know some of you are just listening, but if you go to Pierce Press and you go to Face the Book TV podcast, you'll find the show notes and any updates that we might provide, and it's a good thing. So please do that and subscribe on our email list, right, Scott? You'll get notifications. So we do invite you to subscribe on the YouTube channel and use our self-booking form to apply to be a panelist or audience member, and also chime in live with your comments and questions. So let's get started. Okay, I'm coming around to the wisdom that is presented in your slides here, Scott. I'm getting there. Here's my company, and here's scottchannel.com. And let's get right into it. Why do email? Isn't social media enough? I know you are going to get riled up by that question.
Get me going. I mean, authors must have an email list, period. All right. It's non-negotiable. If you're serious about promoting yourself, your brand, your books, whatever you're doing, whatever label you want to put on it, there are two things that are non-negotiable. One is a website, which we're going to talk about next week. And the second thing is you need an email list. And we're going to talk about a bunch of reasons, but what really drives this is, first of all, you get the highest ROI of anything. And in preparing for this, I read all sorts of studies, and I'm in marketing. So, I've seen these studies before, but honestly, you're getting a, ROI of $25, $30, $35 for every dollar you spend on email marketing. And to not do it because you're unfamiliar with it or uncomfortable, it costs you a lot. You own it and control it versus a lot of social media platforms. And I'm not anti-social media, but you have to use every tactic in its proper place for you to get the result that you want. So, here with the email, you own it and control it 100%. And remember, your readers want this. So I think sometimes people forget that, they write, they tell stories, they're promoting a cause, or maybe they have a business or a service they're promoting, and their readers want to hear from them. Okay. They want more information. And then as far as the cost, it shouldn't even be part of the conversation. All right. Particularly if you're starting out, for free or for under $10 a month, you can have a really good email program that's going to do everything you want. So, cost shouldn't even be part of the conversation. Certainly not up front.
Got it. And even if you have 5 names on your email list, is that?
Everybody starts somewhere, and as you start and you start writing, not only your list is going to grow, but you're also going to build up an inventory of stuff, okay, that you can send out to people, and you get better at it, okay, in terms of your communication. So start where you are, start now.
Okay. And like you said, emailing is non-negotiable. You must have an email list And if you don't, you're privishing, not publishing, right?
Yeah, your email list, honestly, and this is for any business, not just for an author, but your house list, okay, the people who know you and love you and want to interact with you is by far your most valuable asset. And if anyone who sells intangibles, your inquiry list or your buyer list is the most. If everything else can burn down around you, but if you still have that list, you can survive. Well, for authors, your readers list is your most valuable asset. And I would really encourage people, particularly if they're new, there's so many rabbit holes and details if you're unfamiliar with it, to avoid the weeds. Okay. If you don't have an email list, put one on your website, start writing. Don't let all the details surround you, because the bottom line is, if you're not interacting with your most important audience, your readers, nothing else matters.
So if I have historical nonfiction about Greece and Rome, then I could put out an email list with some historical, juicy little historical facts and
things that they want. They can go deeper. Yeah. They interact with you. You're going to be in communication with them. So you're going to have a sense of what they want to hear more about. Hey, the backstory of your story. Okay. How did you come up with your ideas? It's endless what you could communicate to your audience, and they want to hear it.
And your emails help readers. So like you just said, they want to hear it. What else would you put under this?
You can be a resource to them. Obviously, they have read your book, they like the story, they align with the cause, they need your expertise, and you can be a resource to them to go deeper. And remember too, you're going to have people there's some people they'll touch your stuff, others like your stuff. Others are really rabid about your stuff, okay? And those people cannot get enough of what you might be able to tell them or share with them. So deal with your rabid fans. It allows you to go deeper, to your point, a moment ago, Charlotte, about somebody who has an interest. You can go deeper on a topic that satisfies your readers, and you have a lot of personal interaction, which I think is really important, and people don't
value that
the idea that, hey, you control this. People voluntarily participate. It's a very personal interaction between you and your readers. There's no other buffers or distractions or whatever. You totally control the process between them.
Now, what if you have, you've collected 50 names and they've all double opted in and everything? And I know you'll talk about that a little bit, but you send out a newsletter and 10 people unsubscribe. Should you be dismayed?
That's not going to happen. Realistically, that's not going to happen. And whatever your unsubscribe rate, that's natural. Okay. But you shouldn't be afraid of it. Particularly as you get larger lists, or as your list grows, people are going to come in and out, jobs change, emails change. So what? Worry more about interacting more with the people who want to hear from you, rather than worrying about the details around the edges. Okay. Worry more about the core of your relationship with your readers.
Right. Do you want to take a question now?
Sure.
Or at the end?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. We have a question, and this is so exciting, because if you're listening, and there are a number of people listening live, just jump on one of our destinations and post a question for Scott or me, if I can answer it. Scott's our expert. Is there anything that might be a new way to get the word out? What about Bookstagram and BookTok?
You know what? I'll go slightly into jerk mode here, but I really think that one of the mistakes that people make is, before they have a solid marketing plan or a solid outreach plan, they start thinking about all the new stuff. You don't need new stuff. Okay. You need, certainly when you're starting, you need stuff that works, that is, that is reliable. Before you can be good at new stuff, you've got to be good at foundational stuff. So I would encourage people, before they start looking at the shiny objects or the new kid on the block, I really think that, it's a disservice to people. And I think you have to appreciate
Mhm.
that there's a lot of people who prey on your fear,
Yeah.
that this is new, this is better. Well, you know what? It's not going to be new or better if you have not yet learned how to
Right.
interact with your audience and do the basics well.
And I
Then
noticed
you
that.
make better decisions about what might help
Yeah.
you in addition. But so I'm not a fan of new stuff
Mhm.
before you're solid on
Right.
foundational stuff.
Well, I know in TikTok and Instagram and stuff, when you boost a post and they ask you, how do you want to target this? I mean, it's all geared to making them more money, not necessarily making you more money, but they they want to more time on their platforms. And
In Charlotte, the only question is, where are your readers?
Yeah.
What is the best method to reach your readers? And certainly people who have voluntarily visited your website, opted in the list, or they've bought your book and there's a link to it. What we're talking about is how you interact with them. Okay.
Right.
That's got to be the core. Eventually, as you get better at marketing and you can juggle more balls and you're better at execution, then you may add other things around it that help you, but you have to start from that core foundation.
Yeah, right. Personal messaging. Now we have another on the sales, how emailing helps sales. More return on money.
Can we back up one slide? Do you mind?
Yeah.
Because I just want to kind of reemphasize that by having your own email list, that is the best way for you to build relationships with your readers. You control it. It can be consistent at the frequency you want. You have total control over how you interact and nurture that relationship. And to your point, just like we got some feedback from, which was great to get from the person who asked the questions, you get feedback from the people that have interacted with your stuff. You pour your heart and soul into your writing, and this is a great way to get feedback. And it's all personal from you. It's not filtered through any other platform with all sorts of distractions and anything. You control it. It's very personal, and it's you're in control of building relationships with your readers.
Right. And we have a listener asking what's the best way to approach someone for the email. And I think in a couple of more posts or slides.
Great question.
I think that is a huge issue, like how do you ask, how do you get their attention? How do you start collecting those names to get your message out?
Well, what's great for authors is that you publish something, you can put links right in your book. Okay. Like for me, after every single chapter in my book, there's a link. If you want updates, more info.
And do you find that you get, do you have a way to track that? Do you find that you actually get mailing list signups?
Oh my God. Yeah. That's like, for me anyway, that's the best source, because so I'm B2B. All right. I sell services, and people that have interacted with your stuff and like it enough to opt in the list, say, hey, I want more from this person. They're a prime audience. So you just, it's very basic marketing 101. It's marketing 100 and a half, to tell you. Okay? You have a book, people like it. You make it visible. Hey, if you want more info, click this link. It goes to a page on your website, landing page, which it has a form, little verbiage about what they get when they opt in, more info, tips, deeper stories, bonus chapter, whatever it is you're going to offer them. They fill in the form, boom, and then your platform, your email list, which we're going to talk about a couple of options, take over from there. So start there, and then you can add things to it. So if you have a social media platform or whatever, all of that stuff should feed to that landing page, to your website, where people can opt in. And it's not only, look at what other people do. They have landing pages with the form. You see forms on the bottom of
Mhm.
home pages. Sometimes you see the form on the right side of the page.
So do a little research like that and find out what.
Around at what people tend to do and start. And you're going to start with
Yeah.
a landing page or a contact us page where people can opt in. Start there. And then as
Right.
you get more comfortable with it, you can put forms on different places in your website. And importantly, if you're doing social media or whatever, the biggest role of social media is to bring people back to your mothership, which is your website, and getting them to opt into your list. So now you can control that relationship.
Right. So when you're creating your newsletter, you should have that kind of be mindful, like whenever you can direct people back to your website.
The website would get more interact, and then they get, if you have events, if you have other services, or if you sell other products, or you have other options that they would like, you make it very easy for them to do that.
So more website traffic, promote backend. What do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of authors sell more than books. Okay. So, I've seen, authors have products, authors have services that they offer, either their readers or other authors, or they have just expertise to offer people. So whether it's products or service or some other option, your email list, again, makes people aware of all the other ways that you may help them for money and for profit, and bring them back to your website where you can tell the story and they have the choice to further engage you. So, getting that website traffic is very important. If you have a back end, making it people easily aware of those choices that want it, it's there if they need it. And then, there's all sorts of things you can do for lead magnets and so forth, but that's a bit deeper. But the important thing.
So what is the definition of lead magnets? I'm sorry.
Well, a lead magnet would be something that you offer, like a download or something in exchange for an email address. Okay. It is something. So, you would offer people that they might share with someone in the hopes, hey, I want that download, or I want to see that video. I want these 10 tips, or.
Right. So we have, like in our new children's book, we have, we're offering a separate activities guide, which is published in the book, but the book won't be out till September. But we're offering that guide as a incentive to pre-order the book. Is that something you could put in?
Absolutely. So if you've got a list, as you build a list, you've got something new coming out, and you see this all the time, Charlotte, where people, promote their future books or the next book in a series or an event, and having your own email list enables you to do that with the most responsive audience you can get. People who have engaged your material and have chosen to receive more messages from you.
Okay, and then the next, we have about 10 more minutes, but we can take as much time as we want. The next is like the nitty gritty, like how do you do it? I know Jane Friedman, when we had her on our workshop in January, she was talking about, there's some ways to attract people to sign up. And I think you talk about some of them here. What kind of decisions do you have to make?
Well, first of all, let's assume you have a website. All right.
Yeah,
so
we're going to cover that next week again.
We'll cover that next week in terms of components, but there's going to be a spot on that website, whether you call it a landing page or an opt-in page. Don't get hung up on the labels, where there's going to be a form where people opt in to receive additional messaging from you. And, in my research for today's chat, I saw a number of email programs recommended for authors. Two of the ones that were mentioned most frequently was a program called MailerLite and also MailChimp. There were others, but these were the ones that were mentioned most commonly. So explore them, make your own decision. I would recommend, certainly if you're starting out, if you're unfamiliar, that you stick with something that's tried or true, that's used, that you can get help on. And so a MailerLite or a MailChimp would be two of the programs that would be very safe.
I used Constant Contact a long time ago, like 10 years ago. And I found it, I mean, it's probably changed and improved. I haven't used it lately, but it was very, it's just too much detail, too much formatting, too much, so I just kind of, it was too painful.
Yeah. So they all change. No matter which one you pick, someone's going to tell you, oh, there's something else that's better, or there's something else that's easier. Pick a good program, a solid program, learn it and stick with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Until the point where you really, so if you were just starting, I'd pick a program like this, get your foundation strong, perfect your skills. And at some point in time, when you grow, or you get a little more sophisticated, how you're going to interact with your audience, well, then you might step up to something that is more feature rich or has a higher learning curve that you now can take advantage of.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, I love the MailChimp. It's like even their little mascot is cute. It's like makes you just want to use it.
Well, I have clients that use it. I'm not myself. I haven't used it, but I have clients that use it. They like it. So pick something. I'm big on pick solid programs that have been around, that are proven, that you can get help on. I'm not a fan of the newest kid on the block. I got to tell you. Because so often,
somehow I knew that about you, Scott.
Right, so it's like I want tried and true, proven, and maybe at some point, when I can better assess risk, I'll pick the new kid on the block when I know more about what I'm doing. But to start out, I want tried and true and proven, and I want to be able to get help, and that's the best bet.
And I would like to point out, since I'm the regional groups manager at Independent Publishers of New England, that our regional groups are a really great place to drop in. They're free, and you don't have to be a member. You can drop in today. Connie Taylor from Alaska dropped in, and we did a little workshop about book covers, what looks good. So these places, you don't have to just like go out and start Googling. You can come to an organization like IPNE and get some recommendations
and ask questions. So it's great. Between the things like this or the meetups and so forth, where you can actually interact people who have been there and done it, and made the mistakes and can share them with you, so that you don't go down those roads.
And what do you mean by landing page, just to kind of continue on?
A landing page or an opt-in page. So say if you're on social media and you're going to have a link and you want people to opt into your list, well, you're going to have a link to a page, a landing page or opt-in page, conversion page, whatever you want to call it, that is designed with your opt-in form and just some bullet points about what they get if they fill in that form.
Got it.
On your list. So
and to solve, like Jane Friedman was talking about, solve a problem for them. Like, like our title for this thing was "Sell More Books with Email." Right up the bat, you're solving a problem for potential listener or reader.
Solve a problem, or if you're writing a fiction of some type. The problem might be they want more. They want to know more about the story, or they want to go deeper in things. So offer them either solve a problem or offer them something that they generally would like to hear about.
And be consistent. Does that mean like regular or?
Yeah, whatever you decide to do, you've got to be consistent about it. In terms of your
like, don't do one now and then one in 8 months.
3 months later, and be happenstance. So the idea that whatever you choose to do, do it on a consistent basis, because there's comfort and consistency.
And you say a minimum of like every day is like, wouldn't you just like? Don't you have to just be like, have really, really juicy content to?
No, not necessarily. I'll tell you. So we're on, I think,
slide 11.
I think we want slide 12, the next slide, if we're going to talk about this.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Book series. Okay. Oh, sorry.
So this I feel really strongly about, that, I think I hear a lot of people who are uncomfortable with the idea of having an email list or sending out an email list. They get all worried about, somebody may not like it, or I may send it too much, and I don't want to annoy people. Forget those people. Okay. You have something to say. You have a story to tell, a cause you support, you have expertise, and people opt in to hear more. And instead of worrying about the people who, hey, it's not for them, worry more about the people who like what you write and go deeper. My personal opinion, strongly feel, if you're not interacting with your audience a minimum of 3 or 4 times a month, don't freaking bother. Okay. Because they're not even going to know or remember that you're interacting with them. Don't even bother. And I know a number of people, and for myself for a long time, I would email my list every day. And in fact, to our next point about a starter series, Charlotte, anybody?
Hold on a second. Right. Oh, this
actually, if we go back to 12,
that's what I was thinking. Books. Yeah. What are you going to promote? Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have a starter series, when you start out, when you write emails, over time you go, gee, I put out 50 emails, and there's this 5 or 10 that people seem to respond to the most or open the most or whatever. Well, in time, when I call a starter series, when someone opts in, you can actually start them with the best of Charlotte. So over time, when you write stuff and you've got, wow, I've got 5 or 10 emails that people really open a lot and brings them back to my site. Well, you can put those up front and automate them getting the best of Charlotte right up front every day or every other day. Years ago when I was starting out, I used to send people an email a day for 20 days straight when they opted into my list. And it was the best of Scott. And so when people start that relationship with you, what do they say about first impressions? You're providing them material that you know that your audience wants to receive, interacts with, engages with, brings them back to your website. So you can give them that upfront in a starter email series, and they continue to get your blast as you go along, but you start them off with the sort of the best.
Right. So if we have 25 episodes since we started Facebook TV, I could select like the most popular ones and kind of put them on as a series. And I wanted to mention another program that I really have gotten a lot of use from as a podcaster is Snipped, SNIPD. And you can go to any podcast and digitize the text of it, which you don't want to do if you don't want to steal someone's stuff, but if it's your own stuff. So I take that and then I have kind of raw material to use for a newsletter or a social media post, depending on what the purpose is. So it's an AI, SNIPD is the name of it. I just love it. And I use it a lot. So we'll wrap up here in a couple minutes, but what else do we need to cover? Final details. That's always a good one. Takeaways from this.
I think that, the biggest things I want to say, there's all sorts of issues that you don't necessarily need every answer to every detail before you start. The bottom line is, assuming you have a website, which you should, you should have an email list, period. And I think it's really important that you start with a solid foundation, meaning I personally feel that you should pick a popular program that's been around a while, before you try something that's new, that's supposedly better. Build your foundation, get used to interacting with your audience, and that's a safer bet as far as your business objectives than starting with a program that's sort of brand new or I have a rule that, anything that's overhyped or, one thing that is supposed to change your life, see you later. Okay. It's never one thing that gets you where you want to go.
Right.
And, pick, particularly when you're starting, solid programs, tried and true, proven, where you can learn the foundations of your business, or if you're an author, of interacting with your audience. Start there and do that well.
Right.
And then you can start making decisions as to how to add upon that foundation, get a little more creative, take maybe a little more risks
Right.
with what you do once you have a strong foundation.
And before we wrap up, what is the number one no and the number one yes for email list?
I think that number one no. Number one no would certainly be, trying to use your personal email list. Or there's so much wrong with that, and risk that you deserve everything you get. Okay, if you start using Gmail or Yahoo or something to your email list. And the number one thing to do is to start. I mean, particularly if you're an author, you have a book, put links in that book to your website where people can opt in to get more from you. Period. Okay, do that. You can sort out the details later. Don't be afraid of what you don't know. Just know that you have to have an email list and be interacting with your audience. You can learn the rest as you go.
Right. And you can't say it enough. Start now.
Start now. If you're not doing it, start now.
Exactly. So we are in, we already completed number 3 of our Book Publishing Basics series. I mean, now we have to put this in our newsletter, right?
And people are asking questions. That's great.
Yes, I know. I love it. I love it that people are tuning in and asking questions. We have one more. Oh, mining emails. I don't know what they mean by mining emails, but.
Oh, yeah. Mining emails is when you go on the internet and you sort of scrape people's email addresses and you put them in. So, I really would not recommend that you mine emails, or that's what's called cold emailing, meaning you're emailing people that did not ask for it. That's a much more sophisticated topic. We're talking about your audience that's interacting with you, voluntarily opting in to a list.
So start now, whether it's 5 or 500, just do it.
Do not.
And next week we're going to be, maybe websites should have been earlier in this thing, because I don't know, email is so important, but the websites, it will kind of show people, I think, how to present a email list sign up form and that kind of thing, and what else to have on your.
Just all they got to do, Charlotte, really is bop around, look at some authors' sites that they like, and see how they do it. Get on their email list. The best way to learn is just to get on email lists of authors that you like. Okay, authors that are somewhat popular or have followings, and see what they do. And after a while, you'll go, "Hey, I can do this.
That works for me. That might work for me." Yeah, don't reinvent the wheel if you can help.
Exactly.
And anyway, we are coming up on the end, and we're past the end, but it's so important and fascinating. And I hope people, enjoy it once you get into it. I think it may seem like it's painful to start, but once you start and you see the results, I think you'll.
And Charlotte, once you start hearing from people that love your work, it's such a thrill. To hear from those people, because we work so hard and we don't often get the resonance back from.
It's a reward in itself. So we'll have Scott's slides on our website, piercepress.com/facethebooktv with dashes, and we have a bunch of fascinating topics coming up, and our Book Publishing Basics series. I think we'll do an intermediate series after this, just to kind of get into the next level as people grow. We're going to be coming live from the IPNY 10th annual conference, or 11th, maybe it's 11th. And New England Independent Booksellers will be at the Boston Book Festival with IPNE, which is ipne.org. I have a couple of new books coming out myself. Go to piercepress.com and sign up, and you'll hear all about it in my newsletter that Scott has inspired me to start. Oh God, I know. I suffer from some of the same things that readers and listeners have expressed, and you know, I know, I just, you know, once you get into it, it gets easier and more fun. And we would like people to connect with us on Facebook TV, hashtag, use it on social media, IPNE member, if you're a member, and we would love to have you as a member. But IPNE.org is a great place to come, as Connie said, you know, join our regional group meetups. It's actually, you can be in Singapore and join our regional group. So just mind the time zone differences, but use the tags so we can follow you and interact. And that's about it. I think we're wrapping up, and please join us next week. Is it Wednesday? I think again at 2.
Next Wednesday, same bat time.
And we'll be talking about websites, and I'm hoping to get my website designer, Laura Williams of Good Inklings. Hopefully she'll be able to come on, and she's really good at the SEO and presenting things and in an attractive way. So thank you so much, Scott. You're the best.
Thanks, going, Dave.
It's been so much fun doing these sessions with you. I'm serious. It's just,
so great.
It's great. All right. We're going to end here, and